So I've been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia. And recently I done a little survey questionnaire thing online for autism. And I have a slight autistic nature to me, which means I struggle with the communication channel in my brain. And this is something that I continually work on. I don't identify with these concepts or psychology ideas of who I am. I don't want to identify with it because there's been some scientific research that proves that these conditions actually stem from trauma, which means you can reprogram your trauma and actually become better at having more attention, more focus, and things of this nature. But each to their own. I just don't tend to believe in identifying with these concepts. So we'll just use these words and terms to just better understand how to deal with it so you can improve it and perhaps increase your focus, get more stuff done, be more productive. So neurodivergent, right? ADHD, attention deficit, dyspraxia, dyslexia, autism, all of these things can affect our ability to live in this world. And I believe people with these conditions are very unique and we have a unique gift and ability to give to the world. I'm someone that struggled in school, didn't do really well, and then eventually I got into working a 9-to-5 job, and it led me to becoming what I do now, living as an entrepreneur, doing my own thing, because I just felt like the system wasn't for me. It wasn't designed for me to remember stuff, recall stuff, and get good grades. And so I kind of went against the system and followed my passion work, and now I live out my dream life. I've been able to travel all over the world. I do YouTube videos, I run ads, and I have like funnels and all of this great stuff, and I've helped many people transform their lives and their businesses and help them become really successful at what they do. Okay, and so what I want to do is share with you that actually this is not something that we need to consider to be a weakness. It's actually a superpower that we can use and transmute into the things that we want to create for ourselves. You just got to think outside of the box. And so that's something that I've been able to achieve for myself, even though that I thought I'm this uneducated black man from London that, has attention deficit, dyslexia, and autism. And I would never be able to achieve certain goals and certain outcomes. So we need to really work on our self-esteem when it comes to having these so-called conditions, because it can affect our ability to read, write, concentrate, and get stuff done. I used to really struggle with chronic procrastination, not being able to get anything done. And that's because I didn't know how my brain worked. And so as soon as I understood how my brain works, and by the way, I'm squinching my eyes a little bit because the light coming through the window there, I struggle with things like this as well. I struggle with light sensitivity and hearing sensitivity as well. And so it makes me very, very different from most people. It's called I'm a highly sensitive person. And so I even work in a specific way that allows me to be productive and get stuff done. So I found that for me, I need to have a really solid schedule. And I don't mean like a militant schedule. I mean like on Mondays is a video day. I make videos on Monday. As I record this video right now is on Monday, and I do videos on Monday. On Tuesdays for something specific. So my hyper focus would be like, okay, this day is for video. This day is to reply to customers. This day is my day off. This day is to do editing or whatever, right? This day is for building funnels. And if I get that thing done, then I can go and do other things. So there's one main objective for the day, and it helps me focus and get stuff done. Also, with ADHD, dyslexia, and all these conditions, there's supplements that you can take. There's neurotransmitters that we can enhance and change and transmute. And so this is something that you need to look into and research yourself. I just recently started taking a herb or a flower called Kana, and this acts as an SSRI, which means it increases or balances, I'm not sure what the right word is there, your serotonin levels. It actually makes you more happy. It makes you feel more alive and more motivated to get stuff done. Really, really, really powerful supplement. You can look into L-Dopa or Mucuna fruit. which is good for increasing your dopamine levels, which means it allows you to feel more reward and more excitement for getting stuff done, or more excited about, motivated to get stuff done. So things like this can go ahead and change your whole biology to feel more motivated, to feel more inspired, to achieve your goals and get stuff done. For me, I really struggle with seeing too far into the future. So I set really small goals within 90 days, sometimes in 30 days, sometimes within a week. I find what works for me. I even like to take the personality tests to really see, okay, this is the kind of relationship that's good for me. This is the kind of workplace that's good for me, and things like this. You know, really, really important for people to take a personality test. You can go to 16personalities.com and take the test and find out what personality type you are. It can really help. There's other ones called the Enneagram, which is a little bit more complex. And we can take all these kinds of tests to better understand ourselves. What is this going to do? It's going to raise our self-esteem, because for me, I was doing things which were outside of my esteem or myself. What do I mean by that? For example, when I was working for a company named IKEA, furniture company, you know, they wanted me to work in an area where I'll be dealing with customers, talking all day, around a lot of people. This is not necessarily where my strength is at, right? To me, this is a weakness. And if even in my personality test, it says to do this. So I told them, hey, I want to work behind the scenes, okay, where it's quiet and there's not much noise and all this stuff, right? And in that position, I thrived. I actually got a promotion twice within 2 years. And, you know, it was really quick for me. So, you know, it was easy to work. I was looking forward to going to work because it was congruent with my personality. Dr. Joe Dispenza says your personality creates your personal reality. And sometimes we get into jobs and careers and businesses that are not in alignment with our personality. For example, another example is when I first started business, I got into like this network marketing, thing where you tell your friends and family about this new soap that you're selling, or this new drink that you're selling, or supplement, or whatever it is, right? So I used to do this, and contacting people, calling them up, talking to people in person is an energy drainer for me. Considering that I'm INFP, right? INFP in the personality test means introvert, right? It's an introvert who's intuitive, who is a feeling person, who is a prospective person, like someone who doesn't necessarily take action until they know all the details, right? So considering that I'm an introvert, doing network marketing is kind of an extroverted, you need to be like a bubbly energy sometimes. You need to be able to be good with people, talking and communicating and things like this, right? Not necessarily the job that's for me. So if you look at the job that I do right now, I'm behind the camera, right? I'm behind the camera. I'm in this room alone. I don't like when people are in the room and I'm recording videos, by the way. I'm actually in a country right now where it's peaceful. I'm in Italy. It's very peaceful where I'm at, where I'm living. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful experience to be here and be able to record these videos. I work from a computer. I work from home. I get to wake up my own hours. I get to sit with myself and know my thoughts and my emotions. And all these little things that really are really valuable for me versus, a regular 9-to-5 job where I have to go out, I have to commute, I have to speak to people, really energy draining. It takes a lot of life force from me. I even like computers. I like digital stuff. I like cameras. I like computers. I like devices. And so when it comes to this stuff, I'm really into it already. I even like the process of editing because from when I was really young, I was into computers and into editing. In fact, I used to build computers. So my personality is in alignment with everything that I do. Now, as you can see, I'm a public speaker. All right, I'm speaking to the public right now on YouTube, but I'm doing it on YouTube. I could do it in person and do live events and stuff like this, but I tend to stay away from that. I have done live events before, but I tend to stay away from that because I can feel like the way it makes me feel isn't necessarily conducive with my personality. Does that make sense? But I will do more in the future, here and there, and you guys can look forward to that when I announce it. All right. So anyway, when it comes to ADHD, dyslexia, hyperfocusing, we got to realize, people as ADHD, when you become hyperfocused, it can actually affect your stress and it can affect your emotional well-being too. For example, if someone's made you upset, you can really focus on that and blow it out of proportion and become very stubborn in the way that you're thinking about what's happened. And you've got to be very careful with that, because you can really hone in on the emotion and really struggle to let it go, all right, because of this hyper focus that you have, all right. And so you've got to be able to snap out of this state by maybe shaking it up a little bit, shaking your body, doing something different, breaking the pattern, jumping in a cold shower. You got to break the pattern, all right, and really get back and grounded back into your body, back into your heart. Maybe it's even going to the gym and pushing some weights, doing some form of exercise to break the pattern, to snap you out of the hyper focus. All right. It's a skill set as well. I mean, it's a really powerful gift to have hyper focus, because when it comes to something that you're interested in, it has to be something that you're interested in. You can focus on it way more. Which goes to my next point, is people with ADHD, dyslexia, or hyperfocus, or ADD, attention deficit, is you can get hyper-focused, you can get really focused on things that you are interested in. If it's a book that you're interested in, chances are you are going to read the whole book. However, for me, when it comes to books I'm not interested in, I really, it's like 10 levels harder to read this book for some reason. If it's a video or even a movie or something like this, I'm not interested. I'm not concentrating as much. And that, you might say, hey, that's for anyone, Gavin. No, but with people with this condition, it's like a huge difference. Even when it comes to a conversation, if you're not interested in a conversation at all, for example, if it's just like, hey, how you doing? How's the weather? And it's just like really surface level stuff. Usually people with this condition, will get turned off by that, because they want to hyper focus on something that's interested to them. And everybody has their own self-interest, right? But I think it's even more significant with people with ADHD, dyslexia, and autism, and all of this stuff, right? So can you see how that works? So again, we got supplements, we got hyper focus, we got putting yourself in environments that correspond with your personality type and shaping your life around the condition. We got the self-esteem and realizing, don't identify with this, oh, I am a person with ADD and ADHD, and this is what prevents me from succeeding and stuff like this. No, don't identify with that. It's like, what can you create for yourself, right? The next thing that I would say is that we want to continually expose ourselves to things that bring excitement, bring some dopamine in, bring some level of spontaneity. Because oftentimes what can happen is you can stay focused on just one thing that you like and kind of live the same day over and over and over again. And this can create depression and maybe even anxiety, and anything that's outside of what you like to focus on, you don't want to do. It can become a really lonely space, all right? So just be careful with that. Now, there's certain shifts and certain reprogramming that you can do to rewire your brain to assist in maybe following schedules, or be more productive in the workplace, or being productive with your business. Maybe struggling with your levels of dopamine and serotonin, so you don't feel motivated to do things for yourself. Or that might be exercising, that might be starting your own business, your own YouTube channel, or something like this. You might struggle with that because of your serotonin, dopamine levels and things like this. And this is something that I can support you with in coaching. All right. Naturally, I help people with their blocks and the subconscious programs that are holding them back from succeeding. So if you want help with that, you'll see a video on the end screen. Just click on that, and remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.